Chapter 13. And so my life in Colby, North Carolina marched on, rumbling down the mountain on the school bus beside Howard, ignoring those hillbilly kids who wouldn't give me the time of day, playing Bible detective at church, waiting for Wishbone to eat hot dogs from the pie tin, gazing up at the stars on the porch with Gus and Bertha, making my wish every day. Jackie called every once in a while to tell me about her happy life back in Raleigh. She was going to the prom with that boy Arlo. She and Carol Lee might work at the Waffle House this summer. She got a fake tattoo of a butterfly on her ankle. I told her about Wishbone and how he was going to be mine, and she asked me if I really thought that was a good idea. I told her, yes, it was a very good idea, and that was that. I'd seen Wishbone 3 more times, sniffing at trash in the parking lot of the Dairy Freeze, trotting along Highway 14 in the rain, eating something out of a paper bag under a picnic table beside Brushy Creek. Twice I'd found the pie tin and the trap empty, but I hadn't seen him anywhere nearby. Luckily, there were only 2 more weeks of school left, and then I would have my days free to spend more time by the trap. But I was beginning to worry that Wishbone was never going to be mine. Maybe I was wasting my time even thinking about it. I heard Wishbone barking last night, Howard said one day while we sat on the old couch of his front porch eating popsicles. How do you know it was him? I asked, watching Cotton jumping onto the milk crate in the yard with orange popsicle juice running down his chin and onto his bare stomach. I just know, Howard said. We're never going to catch him, I said. Gus was right. He likes being a stray. Don't be a quitter, Howard said. I'm not a quitter. Yes, you are. I stamped my foot. I am not. Howard licked melted popsicle off the side of his hand and said, Pineapple. I flopped back against the sofa and hurled my popsicle stick out into the yard. That pineapple plan of his was starting to get on my nerves. Oh, good gravy, Charlie, he said. Don't be a baby. I'm not a baby, I hollered. Howard shrugged. You're sure acting like one, he said. Just then, Miss Odom came out on the porch, wiping her hands on a dish towel. But my temper had a hold on me, and I could not shake it. I also could not stop myself from yelling, Well, at least I'm not a squirrel-eating hillbilly like you. Then I stomped down the steps, marching across the yard, climbed on Lenny's bike, and raced up the road towards Gus and Bertha's. When I got there, I dropped the bike in the yard and headed for the house. But as I reached the front door, I heard something over by the trap. I turned to look and couldn't believe my eyes. Wishbone was in there gobbling up meatloaf and french fries. I didn't waste one more second. I raced across the yard, slamming the door of the trap shut with a bang. Wishbone let out a yelp and jumped clear off the ground. He then slinked back into the corner and hung his head, dragging his ears on the ground. He looked so scared it like to broke my heart. Hey, Wishbone, I whispered. He pushed against the chicken wire so hard I was afraid he might bust right through it. I got more meatloaf, I said. He cocked his head to the side. Wait right here, I said. I'll be back. I closed the latch on the door of the trap, hurried inside the house, calling for Bertha. We nearly collided when I darted into the kitchen. She clutched her heart and said, Charlie, Lordy, you scared the dickens out of me. I got him, I hollered. I got Wishbone. I yanked the refrigerator door open and took out a foil-wrapped slice of meatloaf and ran back out to the yard. Bertha ran after me, calling, I knew it. I knew my meatloaf would do the trick. When he got to the trap, Wishbone was digging at the ground beside the wire, like he was trying to dig a hole clear through to China. Dirt and pebbles flew out behind him. When he saw us, he stopped and backed up into the far corner of the trap again. I unwrapped the foil. I brought you more meatloaf, I said. He let out a whine, soft and pitiful. I could hear Bertha telling me to be careful and don't stick my fingers through the chicken wire and stuff like that. But I kept my eyes on Wishbone and told him not to be scared. Then I snuck a piece of meatloaf through the wire near him and waited. His nose twitched as the meatloaf smell drifted his way. He stood up and sniffed some more. Come on, Wishbone, I said. It's for you. He took one step forward, keeping his eyes on the meatloaf. He took another step and then another till he was right at my hand. Then he scratched at the meatloaf, swallowed it in one gulp and wagged his tail. Wag, wag, wag. 3 tiny wags like he was thanking me. I turned to Bertha. Did you see that? I asked. Bertha nodded. I sure did. I confess, I thought you were going to lose a finger or two. She reached into the pocket of her apron and pulled out 2 saltine crackers. Give him these, she said. I gave Wishbone the crackers, and after he gobbled them up, he looked at me and wagged his tail again. Then Bertha helped me look for the collar Gus had made from an old leather belt of his. We got rope from the garden shed and tied it to the collar. I ran back inside and got more food, some cereal, a piece of raisin bread, a couple of slices of bologna. Then I raced back out to the trap with Bertha, not far behind, calling, "Wait for me!" Enjoy, guys.